friends, Miss Kristi here, and I'm so excited to be together again cooking in the kitchen. Today we are learning how to make pumpkin chocolate chip muffins. The thing I love about this small snack or breakfast is that it not only tastes good, but it makes just 2 muffins. Sometimes you're in the mood for a muffin and you don't want to end up with a whole batch. What do you do with 12 muffins in your kitchen? So this is the perfect size snack to try and make. We're gonna have fun making this together today, and I'm so glad you're here. Now, the first step to cooking and working in the kitchen is to wash our hands. While I wash my hands with soap and warm water for at least 20 seconds, let's go over the ingredients and supplies that you'll need to gather to cook along today. The ingredients you need are 1/3 cup of flour, 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon cinnamon, a pinch of salt, 2 tablespoons sugar, 2 tablespoons of canned pumpkin, 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 3 tablespoons of milk, 1 tablespoon of chocolate chips, and cooking spray. The supplies you'll need are a muffin tin, oven mitts for safety, 2 mixing bowls, a spoon, 1/3 cup dry measuring cup, 1 tablespoon, 1/2 teaspoon, 1/4 teaspoon, and a butter knife. Okay, great. Our hands are clean. We've gathered our ingredients and supplies. So let's get started making these pumpkin chocolate chip muffins. The very first step is to preheat our oven. We're gonna cook our muffins in the oven today, and we need to preheat it to 350 degrees. So let's do that. All right, while the oven is preheating, let's make our pumpkin chocolate chip muffins. You're gonna grab your mixing bowl. So mine are a slightly different size. I have a little bit bigger and one smaller. I'm gonna grab the smaller one first, and we are going to mix all of our dry ingredients for these muffins into this small little bowl. So put your bowl in front of you, and we are going to take our flour and the 1/3 cup measuring cup. So we're gonna use our dry measuring cup because we are measuring flour, and we need 1/3 of a cup of flour. And dump it right in. And you can put your flour to the side because we are done using that. All right, next thing we need is 1 teaspoon of baking powder. So you're gonna grab your, 1/2 teaspoon. So 1/2 teaspoon, so it's gonna say 1/TSP, and you're gonna grab your baking powder and do a little scoop and dump it right on top of your flour. Okay, and put your baking powder to the side, we're done with that. Next thing we need is our cinnamon. So take your cinnamon, and you need 1/4 teaspoon. So it's gonna be the smallest one we're using today. It says 1/4 TSP, so 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. Measure that and dump it right in our bowl. Put the cinnamon to the side, we're done with that. And then we need a pinch of salt. So what does that mean? I'm gonna grab my salt, and I'm just gonna dump a little bit in my hand. And then I'm just gonna grab a pinch of it because we don't need a whole lot. It's not even enough to measure with a teaspoon. So you're just gonna grab a pinch of salt and sprinkle it right on top into your bowl. And then you don't need the rest, so you can just brush that off. Take your spoon and just give this a mix. We wanna get all of the ingredients kind of incorporated. You can see the cinnamon, so you wanna make sure that is mixed around. You don't want any big clumps of brown cinnamon in there, especially with the baking powder. You don't want any clumps of that either. So just give it a good mix. And then we're gonna set this to the side for just a minute while we do our wet ingredients, and then we'll add this to it. So you can set this to the side and grab your other bowl. Next mixing bowl, put it right in front of you, and we are gonna start adding our wet ingredients, and then we'll add the flour in. So first thing is 2 tablespoons. So grab your tablespoon, the one that says 1 and TBSP. We need 2 tablespoons of sugar. Now, the sugar you use can, like mine's cane sugar, so it's a little bit bigger. You can use granulated sugar, which is that really fine white sugar. As long as it's some type of white sugar, you can use whatever you have in your kitchen. And we need 2 tablespoons. So 1 and 2. Set your sugar to the side, you're done with that. With the same tablespoon, we need 2 tablespoons of canned pumpkin. So I have pumpkin here, and it was in a can, obviously. So you just have to take your can opener, open your can, and you're gonna scoop out 2 tablespoons of pumpkin. And this is what gives the muffins that really good chocolate pumpkin flavor. And you're just gonna put that right on top. 1, and it doesn't have to be perfect. If you get a little bit more, not a big deal. 2. Okay, set that. Done with your pumpkin. All right, now we need vanilla extract, and we are doing half a teaspoon. So we've already used our half a teaspoon, so I'm gonna grab it again. It's the one that says 1/2 and then TSP. And we need half a teaspoon of vanilla extract. So yours is probably in a small bottle. Mine's just in a big bottle, so it's easy to see. And we're going to measure carefully a half a teaspoon. You don't want it to like overflow and spill a ton in here, so you just have to do it very slowly and carefully, the best of your ability. Half a teaspoon of vanilla extract. And you're done with that. Now we need 3 tablespoons of milk, and you can use whichever kind of milk that you have in your house and you drink on a daily basis. So I'm actually using almond milk today. That's what my family drinks. You can use regular milk, you could use soy milk. Whatever milk you have, we need 3 tablespoons of it, okay? So I'm just gonna use the same one. It has pumpkin on it, not a big deal. It all gets mixed together anyways. And we're gonna do 3 tablespoons. So 1, measure it 3 times. 2, and 3. All right. Okay. So those are the biggest ingredients, the most that we're gonna use right now. So you can grab your spoon, and now we're just gonna kind of mix this together. And we wanna get it to where the pumpkin is all mixed into the milk, and it's just like a nice smooth consistency. And then we add our flour. So this doesn't take too long to make. And again, it only makes 2 muffins, which is the perfect size. And they taste really good. All right, now that we have it kind of all mixed together, kind of just looks like pumpkin, we are going to add in our dry ingredients. And how I like to do that is I like to add a little bit at a time. So we're gonna take what's in here, and I'm gonna add about half of it, mix it together, and then I'll add the rest of it. So it doesn't have to be perfect either. So here's about half. And I'm just gonna mix this in. And you wanna be a little bit careful when you're mixing, because if you just start to mix it really fast, it's gonna go everywhere and you're gonna lose some of your flour. And we need that flour to be in our muffins. If you spill a little bit, not a huge deal. But just kind of go slow and mix it together. And once most of it's mixed, I'll add the rest of the flour mixture. We're done with that. And now we just need to get it all mixed together so you don't see any white left. It's really gonna be kind of this like orangey color because of the pumpkin. Just mix, mix, mix. And I'm using a spoon because it's what a lot of people have at their house, and it's easy. If you have a different mixing tool that you think is easier, by all means, you can use what works for you. I'm just using a spoon because I had it nearby. All right, so you can kind of see this is all mixed together to the best of my ability. There's a little bit of flour stuck on the sides, but that's all right. And it's gonna end up looking kind of like this. So it's like a nice thick mixture. It's not super runny. That's what we want for our pumpkin muffin consistency. Last step is our chocolate chips. Now, if you don't have chocolate chips or you don't like chocolate, you could definitely leave this part out. It just gives it a little bit more flavor and kind of a more sweet. But if you don't want to, you can definitely choose not to add it. So we need 1 tablespoon of chocolate chips. So I'm just gonna take my tablespoon again. It's the one we've been using, not a big deal if it's got pumpkin on it or milk in it. It gets all mixed together anyway. So I'm just gonna kind of measure out 1 tablespoon. If a couple more fall in, yay, who doesn't love more chocolate? I love more chocolate. And just dump those right in there. So 1 tablespoon of chocolate chips into our mixture and just give it a little bit of a scoop in a mix together. All right, and that's it. They are ready to go into our muffin tins. And again, we're making 2 muffins, so we are gonna take this and split it between 2 muffin tins. I'm gonna move these out of the way. This is where your cooking spray comes in. If you have muffin liners and you wanna use a muffin liner, you can. Sometimes with this recipe, the liners can get a little bit soft because the pumpkin is a little bit more wet. So I like to use cooking spray, but if you have a liner and you wanna use that, you can make that decision. And I'm just gonna spray 2 because we're only making 2 muffins. And now, like I said, we're just going to take this mixture and divide it with our same spoon. I like easy, so using the same spoon, just get them into your muffin tin. And it's gonna fill it up about 3/4 of the way full. So what does that mean? It's a little bit more than half. So you definitely wanna make sure it's halfway full and then add a little bit more to each one. We do wanna make sure they're kind of the same size. That way they cook evenly. If one was really big and one was really small, one would get burnt and the other would not get done. So we do wanna make sure that they're about the same size. And that's it. We have just made 2 pumpkin chip chocolate muffins and they are ready to go into the oven. Once the oven is preheated, we wanna cook these for 20 minutes and then they'll cool for about 2 minutes. So I'm gonna put these in the oven, set a timer for 20 minutes, and then we'll take them out and we'll see how they look. As you can hear, our 20-minute timer just went off, which means our pumpkin chocolate chip muffins are done. So we're gonna put our oven mitts on for safety and take them out of the oven and let them cool for 2 minutes on the counter. The muffin tin is gonna be very hot, which is why we need our oven mitts. And then we're gonna let it cool and not touch it for 2 minutes. I have something here to protect the counter that I'm gonna set them on, and then also make sure we are turning off our oven. So turn off your oven, take them out carefully and let them cool for 2 minutes. All right, friends, it's been at least 2 minutes and my muffin tin is cool to touch. So that's kind of how you know we can start working with these. Just give it as much time as you feel comfortable in order to touch your muffin tin. This is where the butter knife comes in handy just to scoop them out. So if you're wondering what are we using a butter knife for when we did the supply list, this is where it comes in. So grab your butter knife and then I just have a plate that I'm gonna put them on. And you kind of just get around the sides so they easily lift up out of the pan. And that way you don't really have to touch the pan either. So I'm not touching the muffin tin, just kind of scooping them around. And because we sprayed them with cooking spray, they should come out nice and easy. Or if you have a muffin liner, it's gonna come out even easier. And then we'll just move this to the side because we're done with that. And here they are. How adorable, 2 little pumpkin chocolate chip muffins. Again, this is the perfect size snack, or you can have it as a breakfast. It smells really good. It's got pumpkin and that chocolate flavor and a little bit of cinnamon. So they do taste really good. I hope you try to make these or try and make them again. And when you do, let me know how it goes. I love getting to hear from you. So you can leave me a comment. Let me know if you have any questions. You can even send me a picture of how your muffins turned out and maybe we'll get to show them on next week's episode. Speaking of next week, on next week's episode, which is episode 16, we are learning how to make homemade sugar cookies. It's the holiday season for me right now, and during the holidays, my kids and I love to get to make sugar cookies that we can roll out and cut into fun shapes. And this only makes about 4 or 5 cookies, so it's the perfect snack to try. In order to cook along and make these homemade sugar cookies, these are the ingredients that you'll need to have in your kitchen for next week. 1/4 cup and 2 tablespoons of flour, 1/4 teaspoon baking powder, a pinch of salt, 2 tablespoons of butter, 2 tablespoons of sugar, 1/4 teaspoon vanilla extract, and 1 tablespoon egg. So basically 1 egg. All right, friends, our time today together is almost over. I do hope you've enjoyed learning how to make these pumpkin chocolate chip muffins. I know I had fun, and I already can't wait to cook together again next time. But before you say goodbye to this episode, make sure to click subscribe if you haven't already. You just have to click the little picture of me in the corner. That way you don't miss next week's episode. It'll be out on Friday, and I'll see you then. Bye, friends.